Okay, go.
Huh?
Go.
You don't want that?
No.
Wait, did you start over again?
Yes.
You started the recording again? Say start over again. Count to three. Hey, Sean, thanks for agreeing to do this Zoom meeting, even though I know you're out of town.
You look like.
What? What?
Okay.
We've got ministry to do here.
All right.
Hey, thanks for agreeing to do this Zoom meeting, even though you're out of town.
I'm downstairs. You think I'm out of town. I think you're out to lunch. But anyway,
Well,
the thing with Zoom, Tom, is that you don't have to wear a mask.
all right. All right. Well, you know me, Mr. Conservative. Hey, listen,
Oh,
I want to talk to you about the 2021 annual fund because
great.
it's just around the corner. I want to get you up to speed on that.
Great. I'm so happy to do that. So tell me, what is the 2021 annual fund, Dr. Dickelman?
It's and I'm glad to finally get the respect I deserve from you. It's what we do each autumn to try and raise the support we need for financial support we need for the ministry in the coming year.
An honorary doctorate from Lake Bluff
No,
Elementary.
not honorary doctorate. I actually attended classes for that thing.
Oh.
So,
So the annual fund. Tell me more. What exactly is it?
well, every year we send out a letter to all the people in our congregation and to people who have supported us, excuse me, in the past, and we let them know what our vision for ministry is in the coming year. We offer practical information like Q&A and stuff like that. We present the budget and give them a sense of what that money will go for. We attach a card, a pledge card in an envelope so people can send that back in. The other thing we do is during the 4 Sundays, usually of the annual fund, we have someone from the congregation talk about what the community church means to them in their life, and hopefully that inspires other people to participate.
Boy, that sounds completely exciting. Tell me more.
Uh, it's probably not that exciting. The most
Oh,
exciting thing is each year we've had Ned Jessen, who's been the lead trustee, keeping an eye on money for the last 18 years. He's had that role and he's been fantastic. And what Ned does is provides a summary kind of the church year, and he's given a list of all the different kinds of people we have involved in the life of the church. But the big thing he does is he plays a song. He writes a blues song, though the refrain most every single year is doing kind of good, but we got a long ways to go.
hmm.
And that is usually played about a week or two before Thanksgiving. And then the next 6 weeks, we kind of sweat it out because if we don't have a sense of the kind of resources that we're going to have for our ministry for the coming year, it's hard for us to make prudent financial decisions. So that's kind of what the annual fund is. We try and get the money we need or pledges of that money for the coming year so we can make smart decisions.
So I'm new here, so you'll have to help me get this straight. Every year you do a 4-week campaign. On the fifth week, Ned sings. He's sang for 18 years. And then you watch the pledges roll in. That sounds pretty interesting to me. How's that gone?
Uh, yeah, the bottom line is that over the last 20 years, we've gone from not making not bringing in more than $23,000 any of our first 3 years. Back in the stages when I was a volunteer minister, that
Hmm.
wasn't by design. It's just the
Hmm.
way that
Is that
worked
like a
out.
volunteer firefighter?
Kind of, yeah. Except it was a full-time volunteer
Let's see.
firefighter, so that didn't go so well. But then we created a group of people who were wiser financially than me, and they said we're going to have a $40,000 budget in our fourth year, and then the next year we had an $80,000 budget, and we made it. And the year after that, we had a $153,000 budget, and from that time, we've slowly grown, and it's because our ministry has grown, and now we're up to about $680,000
Wow.
for 2021. And we've been able to do it because folks have been incredibly generous. It's just always been a core value for us not to twist people's arms or not to go to them, as I know some other churches do, and they see the kinds of cars they drive or the jobs that they have or the houses that they live on, and they make these assumptions. It's like, well, based on what I think your lifestyle is, you should give us this amount. And we don't do that. And we don't say you should give 10% or this percentage or anything else. We try to provide people with the information that they need to make an informed decision, so that in light of their values and their faith, they can support the church in a way that feels right for them.
Well, I've been in the front seat of your truck, and I can understand why you'd be a little sensitive to people trying to understand you based on what kind of car you drive. But back to the annual fund. Tell me, it sounds like in 23 years, the community has grown, the budget has grown, the generosity has grown, and the enthusiasm has continued to grow. So it doesn't sound really to me like it's broken. So why are we trying to fix it? Why are we going to change it up?
Well, to be perfectly honest, because every year as the budget grows to now be $680,000 with 2 full-time employees and I guess 6 part-time employees, 5 or 6 part-time employees, and the rental that we pay for places where we meet, and marketing and insurance and all these other costs and overhead, health insurance, you name it. The budget keeps growing, and to raise that amount every year without, arm twisting or putting the pressure on people or being presumptuous what we think someone should give.
Yeah.
It's just really a significant challenge to do that every year in and year out. So we're looking for other ways or opportunities to raise that money that we need, or we feel that we need to do the ministry God calls us to and the community needs us to. We're looking for other ways to raise that, yet still not doing the arm twisting that we've done in the past.
Yeah.
Or that we've never wanted to do in the past, rather. And we don't want to go there. So are there any new or different kinds of ideas that will be successful yet allow us to maintain these core values of no heavy-handed fundraising tactics, and as a church always being debt-free, which is a core value?
So all of that makes sense to me, and I love those core values, having been in the business of doing a little bit of arm twisting in the past settings. So I love being here where we don't do that. So I have an idea. I have an idea for what might make this year's campaign different and maybe even a success. So are you open to new ideas?
Depends, but go ahead.
All right.
Arm twisting is how you got your job. I should say that. So
that's true. And
let me hear it. If you any
right.
ideas you have, I know the board is open, and I certainly am open as well.
All right. First idea would be that that shirt, you should have your top button unbuttoned. Otherwise, you look like Bubba Watson's.
This way, I look like Bubba Watson.
No, not quite.
If I only played golf like him.
You hit the ball. Anyway, no, in all seriousness, I have an idea. What if for this year's annual fund campaign, we did not ask for pledges?
So we don't ask people for money?
No. Actually, just the opposite. We do ask
Okay.
people for money. We ask them, we tell them we have a $680,000 budget. We give them all the data and all the statistics and answer all their questions. And then we ask them to be generous. But what we don't do this year is ask them to write down a number on a piece of paper and send it back to the church. That's it.
And we just trust that they're going to be supportive financially. I mean,
Exactly.
on first take, I have to say that I am aware of the fact that there's a trend in churches in the United States relying less and less on formal pledge campaigns. So I know that it certainly works for other places. What I like most about it, Sean, is that
It's
you and
my
I,
kidding.
well, remember, if this goes over well, it's a
It's
team.
your idea.
If it doesn't, we're a team. If it doesn't go so well, then it's your idea.
Got it. Got it.
But what I love about it is that we're blessed to be able to do ministry in a place where we are trusted by the congregation to
Yeah.
be leaders. And there's not a lot of micromanaging by volunteers of you doing your job or me doing my job. We're trusted. And that is such a precious and wonderful and important thing. And as they have trusted us, it's like we get to turn the tables and say, okay, now's our chance to trust you.
Yeah.
And trust that you, even though we're not asking you to write what you're going to do for the church on a piece of paper, we're trusting that you're going to be supportive in the ways that you have in the past, and to the best of your ability in light of your financial circumstances and your faith.
Well, I love that, and I've always felt in the back of my mind when I've been in churches that have asked for pledges, there's sort of a message that says it's not that we don't trust you, but we need you to write a number down so that we can remind you of what that number is throughout the year.
Right.
And that's not as a compelling of a statement to make to your community as please be generous. And every once in a while, we're going to remind you of some of the things we're trying to accomplish together in ministry and what we're trying to do for our community. And if that inspires you to be generous later on in the year, we'd love for you to do that. That's a whole different way of being a community than just asking somebody to write down a number and then reminding them of what that number is. And the other thing, as I think about it, this year is such an uncertain time, not for the church, but for the world, for our nation, for people's lives, for their families. And it strikes me that it might even be a little insensitive to ask people to write down a number when so much is up in the air. I think it's a good opportunity for us to try something new, to try something that a lot of churches are experimenting with. But most importantly, be mindful that this is a time when we can trust people and we don't need them to write down a number in a time when so much is up in the air.
Yeah. Well, and I love the idea of extending that kind of thoughtfulness and care to our congregation. That just feels right to me.
Well, the reason you hired me is to bring a level of thoughtfulness and care, knowing the things that you lack. Never mind.
Well, all I can say is if this goes over well, we came up with a great idea. If it's a bit of a problem, then I'm sure you'll be comfortable owning up to it.
And we'll talk to Ned.
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity. I have always loved over the last 15, 16 years, Tom, when you've told me about this community and you've told me about how there is a deep level of trust in the leadership and how you trust them. I think we just continue to build on that and be grateful for what it means to belong to the community church. That's it.
Well said. Well said. So you're willing to bet your job on this idea, huh?
I'm willing to bet your job on, yes, I'm willing to bet my job on this.
Well, friends, we want you to know that we are not asking for a pledge this year.
But we are asking you to be generous as you've been, to continue your generous support in the coming year. That's all we're asking.
And always remember that while we may not have members, you belong here.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean.
Tom, thank you.